man that's inside that house. You know, that white man who doesn't even really relate to you like that. You figure that he has more weight. You give him more weight inside your house than what you give your own husband, your own man. Only because he gives you a little trinket, a little gift. Right. But this was a woman right here. Now, you sisters, y'all want to know how to be a real sister? Y'all want to know how to be a real strong sister instead of just being one in word? Listen to these sisters that's in the Bible, because I noticed one thing. I notice whenever I'm dealing with sisters, or, any brother, is dealing with sisters, they never can point out one woman in this Bible that they're trying to be like. Right, I noticed that. And if they do point them out, they'll point out Deborah and Esther. Right, they'll point out those two. They'll point out Deborah because they thought Deborah was just some big mouth black woman running around, preaching and all that. They thought she was that. They depict her as that. And they only choose Esther because Esther was a queen. Right. They don't look into the characters of these women and seeing what got them in the position that they in. And these women couldn't be bought out by heathens. These women hated heathens just like their man did. You start to learn to hate heathens, that's when your people is going to grow. That's when your families is going to grow. Right. As long as you running around with this, I love heathens type thing, I love everybody, which is what we say, but at the same time, that love everybody has an undertone to it that specifically hates black men, and specifically. Anybody that tell you they love everybody, they hate black men specifically. Right. They hate black people, no doubt. They hate blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, no doubt. But they hate the men specifically. The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man is who they hate. And what they doing is a spiritual thing also. Because see, they might not understand it, but the demons that's on them do understand. You have to keep us suppressed in order to keep the white man's kingdom thriving. And one of the ways that they do this is by giving us gifts. Right. They give us gifts because they know that we've been such a poor and destroyed people. We've been a people that's been oppressed, been a people that's been crushed up under everybody, you know what I'm saying? People can sit there and say that the Irish or whoever was oppressed, every race pay their dues. They start out on the bottom, but then they're able to move up because, see, that's how this pyramid works. They come in, they start at the bottom, in a similar situation. It seems like it's similar to us, what goes on with us, but then they get to move up. We are the ones that are locked at the bottom. We're the footstool of everybody else. Right. And the footstool doesn't get up. The footstool stays down. And you black people, rich blacks, or blacks that have some substance or whatever, have some, some little money, whatever, you think that you in heaven. That you separate from other blacks. But here's the thing. Here's what you don't understand. Right. You rich blacks, I don't care how rich you are, you're not in heaven. Let me tell you where you're actually at. You're at the upper deck of hell is where you are. That's right. That's where you're at. You're at the upper level of hell. Now ask the countless celebrities that got in trouble with white people. That were rich and famous, powerful. You see what I'm saying? Ask them. They know. Ask Bill Cosby. He thought he was in heaven, but he just found out he was in the upper deck of hell. That's all it was. That's all it was to it. The upper deck of hell is right up under the white man's heaven. Yeah, he's higher than all the other blacks because the gifts that they done gave him, they done gave him gifts, they done gave him riches, they done gave him a little wealth. I can't even call that wealth, to be honest with you. But they gave him riches, put it that way. Because if one and he's not passing it down intergenerationally. And that's what wealth is supposed to do. Wealth is supposed to, it's not about you, it's about your future generations after you. That's what it's all about. But see, here's the thing though. The wealth, what we get is not, the equivalent to what they get. I think it was Chris Rock that said that he was living in a mansion next to a dentist, who wasn't famous at all. But let me continue on with this. Now, sisters want to learn how to be a strong sister. Yeah, this thing is going to be, this thing is going to be a nice portion about y'all. Judith, chapter 11 and verse 1. Then said Holofernes unto her, Woman, be of good comfort. Now he's telling her to be of comfort. This heathen captain of the host is telling her to be of comfort, to be at ease, to be comfortable. Fear not in thine heart, for I never heard any that was willing to serve Nebuchadnezzar, which is pronounced Nebuchadnezzar here, translated from the Greek, but same dude. Now, so what is his qualification for him not to hurt her? That she's willing to serve him. White people only love you, seem like they love you, is if you're willing to serve white society. They want you to hate despise your people and love theirs. That's what they want. And not only white people, but every other race, every other nationality does this also, except for us. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we're the only ones that don't do this. We do not have a friend. We will sit there and tell us to our that he hates black, but we'll think, man, that's something special. And we'll even tell other black people about that. I've done seen this all throughout my life. We'll tell other black people, especially older blacks, brothers, and all of that. They'll say with the quickness, Bobby Ray, he hates niggas. Where he from, they hate niggas and they hang niggas down there. And Bobby Ray don't like niggas, but he think I'm cool. That's what we do. Other races do not do that. They'll be cool with you, but you let them know that you hate their people. They're going to have a problem with you, and they're not going to be cool with you for long. They're going to spread the word that you are racist. They're going to spread the word that that you hate their people. And then it's going to be a wedge between you and them. And if you're still hanging with them, they're going to question you about it from time. You see what I'm saying? Because as it says here in this Apocrypha, everything to its like. He's not really cleaving with you. He just smoked weed with you or just work with you. That's it. His heart is with his own people. Your heart is with everybody but yours. And when black people say they love everybody, what they're really saying is they love everybody but blacks. That's all they're really saying for real. They love everybody but their own people. And if you have a conversation with them, they will tell you that through their conversation. Especially once they're tried in something. When you say something that cuts them, then they'll tell you that they really hate black people for real. They won't probably not say it flat out in those words. In some cases, they will. But that's what we do, because we take the little gifts that the white man give us and we turn on one another. That's the sign of an impoverished, poor people. Let me read on. Fear not in thy heart, for I never heard any that was willing to serve Nebuchadnezzar. Any that's willing to take you away from your own God and make you serve this man who props himself up as a god. Does that sound familiar to anybody? Yeah, of course it sounds familiar. That man is called the white man. Now, therefore, if thy people that dwelleth in the mountains had not set light by me, I have lifted up my spirit against them. But they have done these things to themselves. Does that sound familiar? Of course it does. That's what the white man say to us all the time. He justifies anything that he does to us, he justifies it. And put it like he did something good at first. Well, I did this, and they did that. So they caused it on themselves. But now tell me, wherefore thou art fled from them, and art come unto us, for thou art come for safeguard. Now he had already the purpose that she done came to him to be safe. This also sounds familiar because black women, during the time of right after slavery ended, black women were getting with white men and trying to be safe by getting with a white man so they wouldn't get lynched and hung. But in reality, it was a little bit deeper than that because they loved the white man also. Just like their, slave mom and dad, they loved it. And they also were sexually aroused by the white man also. So it wasn't all about no damn safety. When they try and come with this stuff, well, the black man couldn't protect us. The black man wouldn't protect us. That right there, that is what that is really saying is that's only making an excuse for your lust. Well, black man in today's time, well, black man, he ain't doing this. Black man, he ain't got that. So that's why you're doing this, and that's why you're doing that. That's why you're with another woman. That's a lie. That's your lust that drives you that way. That's something that you done been thinking about, that you've been, fantasizing about. That's all you. You can't sit there and blame black men for that. That's you. Be of good comfort. Thou shalt live this night and hereafter. Now, he's only using this on one condition, because he thinks that he's going to be able to get live with her. Now, she was a beautiful woman and everything, but she wasn't like the sisters of nowadays. This is a woman that was dedicated. This woman never even, she didn't follow after her lust after her husband died. Judith had a husband, and this man died. And he left her a nice amount of wealth, and left her servants and handmaids and so on and so forth. He left her all of these things. So, with him leaving her these things, she was able to live comfortably. But at the same time also, this woman was righteous. She was a real righteous woman that feared the Lord. And he knew that. He knew that she was that kind of woman. So what he was trying to do is to snake-like deceive her real quick. That's what he was trying to do. For none shall hurt thee, but entreat thee well, as they do the servants of King Nebuchadnezzar, my Lord. Then Judah said unto him, receive the words of thy servant, and suffer thy handmaid to speak in thy presence. And I will declare no lie to my Lord this night. And if thou wilt follow the words of thy handmaid, God will bring the thing perfectly to pass by thee. And my Lord shall not fail of his purpose. Means this, she's speaking good, smooth words to him, right? But at the same time, her heart is still with her people. Now, she's doing what seems like a good thing to him. Enemy nation. She is of our nation. If you sisters want to seek out to deceive somebody, deceive the enemies that are coming up against your people. But without, giving your soul over to them. This was a real strong, because the sisters of nowadays that are not into Isupk, these sisters will be in a position like this, and they will bow down to whatever will it was that he would come with. They would take the riches, They would take, the splendor that he would give, and they would give their people up. This is what black leadership is about nowadays, and everybody knows this. Everybody knows that, that black people, that we don't have a lot of moral strength. We've been crushed and made weak in this captivity right here. And we don't have, like I said, we don't have a lot of moral strength. But one thing though, hold on for a second. Shalom, brother. Shalom. Going, brother.
Got it right today.
All right.
How's it going, bro?
Going all right,
Good,
brother.
man. Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you, brother. Yeah, you good, brother.
Y'all ready to get rolling?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So see what you got a phone on you so I can get a time check.
Yeah, actually done.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna need a time check from time to time.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. You want to be strong or anything?
What y'all drinking?
Thompson.
What type? What type of alcohol is it? Nah, man. I'm gonna ease off of that. Ease off. Appreciate you, dog.
All right.
Where's the man Compassion?
He's upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what's your name again, brother?
Vane, man. Oh, you good, man.
Brother, okay. Yeah. Brother Van is here.
He said, yeah, man. He sent me a text message.
Yeah.
Come. All right. I'm just letting you know he was here, sir.
Oh, both sides across.
All right. Okay. You got your apocrypha with you? Well,
I don't, man. I don't. I was trying to look for it, but I don't. Y'all by a chance have a spare?
Hey, officer. Officer Bosch.
Yeah.
We got a spare apocrypha.
No.
Go.
Right
Yeah, God, give me a sec. I got one.
Carter will come.
Here you go.
Appreciate you, brother. Now.
Yeah. Judith chapter 11. Chapter 11, and we'll be at the going to the 7th verse. Yeah, I'm just going over here is you already got it?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
My fault.
All right. Yeah, what we've been going over here is Holofernes, the situation between Judith and Holofernes. You familiar with that?
I'm familiar a little bit with Judith, but not the other character. I'm not familiar with him.
All right. What was actually going on was we was being invaded by the Babylonians. And this was right before they was getting ready to come in and destroy.
Okay.
And what actually happened was the Lord held this off. He held off the what the Babylonians was getting ready to do because of this one brave sister. And the topic of it is also that when heathens do good things, We have to understand when heathens do good things, they're not doing this out of a genuine love. They're not doing this out of some love for humanity or anything like that. Because I mean, if they was really doing it off of that, then they would be giving us everything. Because I mean, we served them for 400 years, right?
Correct.
You know, with us serving them for all of that long time, and us really not getting anything off of it. You know, the right thing to do was for them to give back. You know, and to offer themselves up as slaves. That would be fair. That would be fair and just. So what they do is they know what they actually owe us. They know that they actually owe us everything and to offer themselves up as slaves. So what they do is, to ease their own conscience, they give us a good job. That's if we qualify for it. They might give a homeless man $5. And in their mind, they're not doing just this good deed. They're paying you for slavery. That $5 is what they see, that $5 is paying you for 400 years of pain, suffering, and death. That's the way that they look at it. So now, right after they do that, the next person that calls them racist, well, I give to black people. I see black people out on the street, and I give them $2 or $3. That's when they come like that. That's why the reason why they come like that is because what they're saying is, we don't owe y'all nothing now. Because of these little kibbles and bits that they gave to these people that's out on the street. And the way that comes over to us is, we'll see him like his dollars, his $3 that he gave will be blown. Because we're so used to them doing evil things to us that when they finally do something good, we just lose our mind. You know, we just totally lose it when they finally do something good for us. Which, you know, and the Lord, but at the same time though, the Lord does great things for us, gives us a land, a nation, and give us, you know, a way to return back to Him, you know, so that we can be the powerful people up on the earth. And yet we look at that as a light thing. But that white man's $5 is golden. It's funky little $5. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's the way that we look at things. And then, you know, also when it comes to like celebrities and things like that. Celebrities, you know, they look at how the white man made them rich. So what do they automatically do? They turn against black people. Black people, man, say he can't say a damn thing to them about racism because of what the white people did for him. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, let's go into the scriptures with it. Let's see. Yeah, let's go at verse. We're gonna start back at verse 6. Verse 6, 11 and verse 6. What she's doing, she's gaming up Holofernes right now. And in her mind, you know, she's deceiving him right now because she's terrified for the condition of our people. She knows she got to do something. She knows she's burdened. She can't eat, sleep, nothing. You know, she's totally burdened with what's going on with her people. It says, and if thou wilt follow the words of thy handmaid, God will bring the thing perfectly to pass by thee. She's making him think that she has, you know, good insight on how to get the Lord to allow the armies to come in and invade Jerusalem. The armies of the Babylonian, actually Holofernes was the captain of the Assyrian host. Because the Assyrians Nebuchadnezzar made an army out of everybody. Out of every nation, he had an army inside of it. You know what I'm saying? And the Assyrians at the time being his most powerful because they were the ones that were formerly in power right before the Babylonians emerged, before they rose up. It was kind of like Medo-Persia. You know what I'm saying? Okay. You know, two nations ruling, you know, at the same time. But the Assyrians at this time were kind of coming down, and the Babylonians became the power. When it started out the opposite at first. It started out the Assyrians were the top dogs. You know what I'm saying? Okay. But what happened was the Babylonians latched on to them and was starting to rise up over them. with Nebuchadnezzar, like his father and all of that.
Right.
That's what started to go down. So now the Assyrians is playing second fiddle. But they're still super powerful though. And this captain of the Assyrian host is really kind of like their king for real. But he serves Nebuchadnezzar.
Okay.
All right. Now Judah is a woman that was, a very highly regarded woman, because that's who the heathens is going to try and deal with. They're going to try and deal with the highly regarded among us, the highly, favored, the highly, the goodly people. They're going to try and deal with them. So they dealing with this woman. And then they also coming at the woman because they know that the woman is the weaker vessel. Just like the serpent come with the apple, or with whatever the fruit it was, They came with that to, the serpent came to that with Eve, and through that, Eve fell and caused her husband to fall.
Right.
But this woman, Judith, was different than that. For one thing, she understood her nature. She understood her being a weaker vessel, so what did she do? She hit her knees and cried out to the Lord. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord strengthened this woman at the time. And she ain't running around acting like some lesbian or any of that. She ain't running around like some bold lesbian or none of that stuff. Right. She's a lady with it the whole time. You know what I'm saying? Right. As Nebuchadnezzar, king of all the earth, liveth, and as his power liveth, who has sent thee for the upholding of every living thing. For not only men shall serve him by thee, but also the beasts of the field, and the cattle, and the fowls of the air shall live by the power of Nebuchadnezzar. For we heard of thy wisdom and thy policies. And she's running the game, and what she's saying ain't a lie. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. This is actually, something that was revealed to her. What she's saying here is not a lie, because the Lord rose, put this man up in this position. He put Nebuchadnezzar up in this position to break and use him as the hammer to break every other nation, down to rubble. Right. As we see when we go, into the Bible, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. About, during the time of Daniel, right. Nebuchadnezzar's reign and all of that, The Lord used him as the hammer. She understood this. And she also had respect. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, she was smart enough to know that these people will try and bribe her. She's taking care of her people like a hen would for her, her nest, her eggs and all of that, mm-hmm. her little chicklets or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's how she's looking at this situation. And it is restored in all the earth, and thou only art excellent in all kingdoms, and mighty in knowledge, and wonderful in feats of war. There's no doubt. The man was, he was something else in war. Right. He was the second Nimrod. You know what I'm saying? Right. So she's giving him the respect. Now, as concerning the matter which Achor did speak in the council, we have heard his words. For the men of Bethulia saved him, and he declared unto them all that he had spoken unto thee. Therefore, O Lord and Governor, reject not his words, but lay it up in thy heart. For it is true, for our nation shall not be punished, neither can the sword prevail against them, except they sin against their God, which is true. You see what I'm saying? Right. Now she's getting him together. She's really deceiving him. This is a woman of great knowledge and understanding. Mm-hmm. This is a woman that understands that Israel that can only be invaded if they in sin. Right. That's the only way that we conquer over right now. That's it. You see what I'm saying? Right. It's not by sword, you know what I'm saying? This is the only way that we're conquered. Right. It's us being in sin. Mm-hmm. Think about it for a second. We being conquered by Arabs and everything right now. They ain't even put it, I'm talking about here in America. They ain't even put the sword to us. Right. What are they doing? We sat there as Muslims and all that. And when we become Muslims, what do? now we invest money into their enterprise. And, and I done heard silly Negroes say things like, I'll shoot another nigga quick before I do something to one of my Muslim brothers, one of my Arab brothers.
Right.
It teaches us to worship the Arabs once we take on their religions. It teaches us to worship whatever people that is. We will automatically look at them as being a representation of God on the earth. So they don't even have to put, the sword to us. But when we go into these stores and we get out of hand, on the other hand, now they can sit there and pull their shotgun from out behind the counter in them stores and blow one of us away, and nothing will be done about it.
Right.
Right. And everybody in that neighborhood will fear Habib because Habib, he ain't no joke. He don't take no shit off nobody. Habib, we'll love and respect him for it. Totally being conquered over. The same Negro that's going around talking about, loving Habib and all that. His wife, his woman or daughter or whatever will be back in Habib's back room. Getting live with all those Muslim Arab men. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And not only that, because they'll also keep you in sin because they'll sit right in their stores and they'll sell you pork. Even though they don't believe in eating pork, they'll sell it to you. You see what I'm saying? Regardless if you was a Muslim coming in with a kufi and wanted to buy some pork Vienna sausages, they're not going to sit there and say, hey, you shouldn't be buying that. This is pork. They're not going to say anything.
Right.
They're going to let you buy it. And see, another thing what they'll do too, they'll show some kindness every now and then. They'll sit there and fry out the chicken, and they'll have, like the old chicken that nobody bought. You see, and if you come in there and you buy the chicken from them all the time, at a certain hour they might sit there and give you a nice portion of the chicken that's old, and what will we think behind that? We'll be thinking, damn, Muhammad's man. All of a sudden, we'll want to become a Muslim because he gave us the old chicken. And we'll sit there and put that in comparison and say, man, look what, niggas, when a nigga restaurant won't give you nothing. But nigga, he done gave me 20 pieces of chicken, for $5. And that's the type of stuff that we do. And they want to make sure that that they did something nice for you. You see what I'm saying? They'll make sure that you know it. And they're making an investment. They're making an investment in a slave, is what they're doing. And now that my Lord be not defeated and frustrate of his purpose, even death is now fallen upon them, and their sin hath overtaken them. Therewith they will provoke their God to anger, whensoever they shall do that which is not fit to be done. For their victuals fail them. We was in a bad situation during this time. And Judith was very mindful of this situation. She wasn't selfish this time. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Of course, she distributed everything that she had. We had been, it was in a pretty bad, bad situation at this time. Mm-hmm. But we had brothers that were still mighty, brothers that wouldn't compromise. And this woman right here, she didn't compromise. The Lord will take the weak things, sometimes the weakest things sometimes, and destroy the strongest things with it, the things that's most feared. Just like you had this one dude that was one of Gideon's descendants, that one of his sons, rather, that slew all his brothers, and he was a mighty dude in war, and he was, I think his mom was a heathen, and he went out and he killed all his brothers off, and he and is imputing power to these Hivites, he's sitting there ruling as king, You know, and the Hivites told him to pump himself up as king. Well, he going on his campaign and all of that, right? And everybody's in fear of him. Well, at one time he ran up on this tower and he busted through the tower, and this woman, out of fear, you know, and out of protecting the people that was in the tower, took this rock and threw it and cracked him in his skull with it and knocked him off his horse. You see what I'm saying? Right. And then he was so ashamed and embarrassed by what happened because he just did all these amazing feats and all of that. He did all this amazing stuff, you know what I'm saying? Right. To have his head cracked by this little tender little woman with this rock. Right. And he knew that he was getting ready to die, and he told one of his warriors, he's like, look, man, go ahead and kill me. Let it not be said that a woman has slain me. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know, the Lord will, you know, he'll sit there and he'll use the weak things to turn up the strong and the hardy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So, Lucky, if I could, you remember David and Goliath?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Same
David's stature and Goliath's stature, you know what I mean? And their reputations, and then they squared off, and then, you know, we seen what happened and how, you know, the humble and the weak supposedly got exalted.
Very good example. Because see, also too, Goliath wasn't a normal man.
Right.
Goliath, once you look at the measurements of his armor, you look at the measurements of his armor, and this is the reason why people were so afraid of him. He wasn't your average big dude. You know what I'm saying? Right. He wasn't, you know, who's the biggest guy you can think of right now that you know a celebrity or a non. Mm-hmm. This guy, that they didn't have nothing up on this type dude right here. Right. You look at the measurements of his mail, of all of his armor and everything that he wore, and this is the stuff that he went to battle to fight in. Mm-hmm. I averaged it out to be somewhere in the area of about 200 pounds. His mail, his mesh, just his mesh alone, was like somewhere around it was 5,000 shekels. 5,000 shekels, I think that averages about 50 pounds. It's like having a 50-pound shirt on. And then he had a spear that was the size of a weaver's beam. A weaver's beam is 12 feet long. That's not counting the spear. It said his spear was 600 shekels. Means that averages about to 6 pounds. Could you imagine having a spear with a 6-pound blade on it?
Yeah, that's some stuff.
So that don't mean this. He wasn't like what people, when you got people that's like 8 feet tall and all of that, right. You know, but they all loopy and all of that stuff. Right. This dude was nothing like that. Yeah. He backed our whole army off when he came forward. Our whole army backed up, mighty men and all. That's how scary this dude was. So you could just imagine his physical. Then not only that, he also had a target of brass on, and he had the shin guards. He had all of that on with this big helmet on top of that. And now this is the stuff he went to war in. And then his shield. They did a measurement of his shield. On one of the Christian stations, they did a measurement of his shield, what his shield was like. Going by the measurements of, your shekels and cubits and all of that. Right. The cubit is about 1.5 feet. Okay. Now, he was 6 cubits and a... That averages out to about 5. He was built like the Incredible Hulk. Right. That would, that's one of the reasons why he was their champion and nobody could get with this dude. Not only was he like that, but he wasn't this big slow lug that was just, no. He was a mighty warrior that ran out to war. Right. If he was that big and that slow, he would have been, somebody would have been able to kill him. Just been quick, you know what I'm saying? Right. And obviously that's not what he was. Right. They was, so think about it. That would seem like an impossible act for and now think about it. Now it says Saul was a goodly man. Mm-hmm. Saul was a head taller than all the people. Mm-hmm. Means, say if the average man was 6 foot, Saul would be 7. Right. He was a whole head taller than everybody else. Right. Goliath put Saul in pure terror. Right. You see what I'm saying? Not only King Saul, but everybody else too.
Right.
So think about that for a second. What type of man he is. So his deal with King David seemed to be totally impossible. Totally impossible. But the Lord calls him to crack his dome with a stone.
Right.
And then take his head off on top of that.
Right.
And the man was so big that his sword was legendary. That man's sword, he also had the sword. The sword of Goliath went up in like the damn museum. It was so big and so, well fashioned.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. That's some stuff.
Mm-hmm. So, back to the point though. In this instance, this woman is not going for this. This is how to be a strong sister. This is a strong sister right here. To be a strong sister, you got to value your people more than any damn body. You got to value your people. You just can't love everybody and act like you're going to be strong. It's not how it works.
All right.
Like, say for instance, if the United States military loved every other army, how effective would they be? They wouldn't be effective at all. Right. They would love them too much to, you know what I'm saying? And by default, they would hate their own. You see what I'm saying? If you try and pour your love out on everybody else, you can't serve two masters. And you are called to be a servant to your own people. So you can't serve yours and somebody else. It don't work that way. You know what I'm saying? You can't serve two masters. So this woman is knowing this, this is a woman that's strong with her people. She knows, even though she's in the courts of them, her heart is still with her own. And she's ferociously about her own. This is how we gotta be. Right. I don't care what gifts, what they offer us. If somebody offers us something, and we take it, fine, we take it, and what do? We help our own people out with it. Just like what they do. Right. The Arabs take that chicken money. They don't sit there and act like black people are so great. Because black people buy our chicken. Man, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have nothing. They don't think like that. Right. They want our service, no doubt. Yeah, they want they want us buying their stuff. They want us doing, serving them in any way, but their love is always going to be with they people. Love is going to always be what they own, regardless of what gifts. They don't sit there and take the grants that the white man gives to them and love the white man with it. No, they do it. They love their own people with it. They're in competition. Every race is in a competition. That's why a race is called a race. When people, when they fire the gun and they take off, it's a race. And in this race, everybody's playing to win. Everybody's playing on their own side. Now imagine if you had a damn race, a 400-meter dash or whatever, and the person out there, one of the people is want to love every one of the competitors and want all the competitors to win. Come on, man. What's going to happen with him? He's going to lose. They all going to take off running and his ass going to take off walking. You see what I'm saying? Because he wants everybody to win. And and what's going to happen behind that? He is going to lose. Now think about it. If that runner has a family to feed, but he loves every other competitor, enough that he wants them all to win. Now the winner, he's feeding his family. Well, what's he going to do? The one that's walking, the one that wants everybody to win, his family starving. And when his family cry about starving, then he blame his family. What type of man would that be? Now let me ask the question. What type of race is that to do that? Right. You know what I'm saying? What type of leaders would do that? Right. Everybody has to be selfish when it comes to their own. Everybody has to be selfish. Selfishness, like the Commander General Yohana said, selfishness has a place in the earth. You have to be that way. You know what I'm saying? You have to. Everybody's out here for the survival of their own. Everybody. Regardless of who they are. They out here for the survival of their own. So if you're not out for the survival of your own, you're going to get picked apart by everybody. You're going to be eaten. And a person knowing this, but still loving everybody else, is a person that's not about love at all. Because he sat there and watched his own people be devoured. And that person is not a servant of the Lord. He's a servant of Satan. He's there to make sure that the Lord's people get devoured. That the Lord's people get wiped out. That's what his goal is. That's what his purpose is. And that type of man is not a man of love. And the Isupk is going to be the only group that's going to be really exposing that. We're going to be exposing the leaders. The people, and even the people that are not in high positions of leadership, just displaying the mindset of loving everybody. Loving everybody is hating your own. That's what it is. Could you imagine a person saying, I love every plant and every animal, so much so that he wouldn't even eat it? What will happen with that person? He'd starve. He'd starve to death. He loves every plant. He loves everything. He loves every plant, so he won't pick a tomato. He loves every animal, so he won't slay a sheep. He won't slay an ox to feed his family, because he loves everything. And then he'll go and charge his family with loving everything too. You see what I'm saying? He'll sit there and say, no, y'all supposed to love everything. Love everything. No, dude, if you eating that, then you're not loving it. And then what's going to happen with his family? His family going to be looking like the damn Ethiopians running around over there. You see what I'm saying? Right. Belly all big, ribs showing. You know what I'm saying? Starving his own family to death. What part of love is that? You know what I'm saying? That ain't no love at all. That's hatred. And then, here's the thing. For all the people that want to love every other race, that want to love everything, the best way, you can't love everything if you starving out the Lord's people, because the Lord's people is what's supposed to set the whole global system straight. That's what? Now you're not loving them. Now, with us being crushed at the bottom, you can see the precursor to this, because look at the animals. You see what I'm saying? Everything's turning against it. You seeing hawks in the city. You know what I'm saying? You seeing all type of changing of animals. Animals that used to be in the woods. You see them in the city. And animals that used to be in the cities in the woods. Everything's changing up. You got gay gorillas running around now. Gorillas, seriously, you got male gorillas that are leaving their families to run off with another male gorilla. Wow. Dead serious. You got that going on. They talk about saving the polar bears. You know, save the polar bears. They're losing all their habitation. All right. They're losing their habitation because the white man and his position on the earth and the ecosystem is to really mess it up. That's what his position is on the earth. The white man profits the earth nothing. His servitude even on the earth is really not worth anything, because he can't resist his inclination to usurp. He can't. You see what I'm saying? He can't resist his inclination to do that. Especially that damn Jewish man. That Amalekite. That's why Job, which I'm gonna break this down in the future class. That's why Job said, what he said, his exact word is, I'm kind of paraphrasing. What shall the strength of their hands profit me? whom in old age was perished. A lot of people don't understand that saying. He was talking about, because Job was living in the land of Edom. And you had Teman and Amalek and all of them around in that time. He said, what does the strength of their hand profit him? It profits him nothing, because with Job being on the top, he really can't use them for anything for real. Even his friend Eliphaz the Temanite was a damn snake. You see what I'm saying? Even though he was a skillful man that had wisdom and stuff like that, but his inclination was to, usurp. He couldn't help himself. The white man is the devil. Ask yourself the question, what has a Jewish man ever produced? He's never produced nothing. Okay, the Chinese produce rice. You know what I'm saying? Have a spot in the ecosystem. The Arab man has a spot in the ecosystem because Arab men are good with raising camels. And they're good also with sheep and rams and things like that. They have a place. You know what I'm saying? The rams of Nebaioth. Nebaioth was one of Ishmael's firstborn sons. You know what I'm saying? It was his firstborn son, Salaki. And they were good with sheep. They were real good with them. You know what I'm saying? Now think about it. And it also says in the kingdom, that's going to be their job up under us. They're going to be working for us doing that. But you don't see no job for Amalek. You don't see no job for them. You know what I'm saying? Right. You see nothing. That's why Job said, what shall the strength of their hands profit me? It profits him nothing at all. Because all they can do is take, just like a leech. Just like a leech can latch onto something and suck the blood out of it, but gives nothing back. That's what they do. That's why they've been kicked out of every, what do they do? They actually pay people off and buy politicians and things like that. And next thing you know, you have one of them seated on the political board. You know what I'm saying? And what does he do after that? He's an infection, because he'll get in more of himself. More of his peoples will come in. It's the same shit that Haman did. The same thing. Haman was there, up under, King Artaxerxes. And what did he do? He started moving his people in. First thing, he moved his 10 sons in and his wife. You know what I'm saying? He started to do that. That was a strategy of governmental takeover. That's what was his whole purpose was. That's why he wanted to be dressed as the king and all of that. They have no real spot in the ecosystem except to infect everything. You see what I'm saying? That's what they can do. They can infect stuff. But what we do a lot of times is they in power, we take the gifts that they give, and all of a sudden, just like with these celebrities, they becoming Jewish. And they're not, we be thinking us, that's in the ghettos, we thinking that they waking up to their nationality. That's bullshit. They're not waking up to their nationality. They know their nationality, and they've been knowing it. Because in order for you to reach into higher levels of, success as far as with being a celebrity and things like that, there's things that they're going to reveal to you. You see what I'm saying? They're going to reveal certain things to you, just like Shaq being a 33rd degree Freemason and all that. That's a level of trust that they have for you, because they trust your greed. You see what I'm saying? They trust that you don't want to lose what it is that you got. So now when they got you like that, now they can tell you what the whole game's, they can tell you what the game's about now. They know they got you. They know you're in fear of them taking everything from you. So now you solidly know what it is that you're doing, who it is that you're coming up against. So whenever the Amalekite wants to pull the trigger and say, now, what's that guy's name? Kendrick Lamar? Yeah. You're an Israelite now. Right. Go push that. And what they're actually doing, they're not trying to get you to wake up to your heritage and start keeping up to the law, statutes, and commandments. They're trying to make you Jewish. Is what they're doing. The same stuff that they did back in the 60s during the time when you had all of these revolutionary movements back in the 60s, it's the same stuff they did back then. You see what I'm saying? The same thing. They had all of these revolutionary movements, and then what happened was you had those coming into the truth. They were coming into the truth with a knowledge about being an Israelite, but they were swaying them to be Jewish. And you know what? None of those groups that turned into being Jewish stand today. The Isupk, the founders of the Isupk, was the only ones that stood strong. It was like, we ain't got to deal with y'all. Y'all the damn devil. Y'all the devil that the Bible speaks about. That's why the Isupk is here today. Even through all its trials and tribulations that the Isupk has had, this is the reason, that strength right there, that we didn't line ourselves with the damn devil. That's one of the reasons why we're still here. We've been going strong since 1969. But these other groups, they done melted away. You see what I'm saying? Like snowflakes, you know what I'm saying, when the sun come out. They done melted straight away. They done became slaves and done built temples and all that for the Jewish man, and the Jewish man is enjoying those temples while they're kicked out of the temples. And even if their descendants even come into the temples, they looking at them as a thief. You see what I'm saying? The Lord told us not to make any covenants with these nations. Even righteous and mighty men have done this. You know, during the time of the Maccabees, you had Judas Maccabeus and them that, you know, Jonathan and Simon. Shalom, brother.
Shalom.
How's it going, bro?
Fine.
Yeah, watching your show.
Sir.
Good. How's it going, brother?
Hey, brother. Hey, shalom, Mark. Shalom. How about shooting out with shot on the thumb? Yeah. Shalom, Mark. Going in front. Ring. Shalom, brothers.
You get a time check, Lord.
Yeah. Got 5:41.
5:41? All right. Let's see. Now, let's go to the... Let's go to 2 Chronicles, chapter 17 and verse 1.
Didn't bring your glasses again.
No, yeah, I actually got that. I actually
This
brought
large
that giant Bible for him, yeah. Because I remember he
Did
said,
you bring that?
but just in case, yeah.
Okay. Hallelujah.
Yes, we use that one.
Praise to the Most High, shall I say. Okay. Yeah, I'll do this one.
Oh, that one, man. This is the Apocrypha. So
Oh, okay, I got
I think they
it.
got
I got
another
you.
square over there for you for Chronicles, yeah.
See. 2 Chronicles.
Yeah, 2 Chronicles, chapter 17 and verse 1. Now, there's another reason why. Yeah, I'm going to let y'all go ahead and grab it. Well, no, I'm going to go ahead and speak. Yeah, second Chronicles, chapter 17, verse 1.
Verse 1.
Now, there's another reason why, you know, heathens will befriend you. There's another reason for it. If they're afraid of you. Because you're in a position of might. Like you know, what happened during the time of, during the time of the Dark Ages. Now you had other kingdoms that were given to us. We were starting to emerge. What happened like during the time of the apostles and all that. Rome was falling. So with Rome falling, who was emerging? Who was rising up? We were. We were rising up during that time. So now once they see that we're in a position of power and they can't do anything about it, now they'll come with gifts in that fashion too. Now they're not giving you gifts to keep you as a slave, but they're not giving you like little tidbits to keep you as a slave. Now they're giving you great gifts because they're afraid of you. You see what I'm saying? And their hope is that you don't go with them. But at the same time, their inclination still is to when they try and usurp, you know, and one of the things that they'll do is they'll try and give you their women. That's one of the strategy of every other nation that wanted to rule and conquer over us. They come to give us their women. And we've always had a lust for strange women. All 12 tribes, you know what I'm saying? We always had that, you know. And there's always been a battle that we've always had to fight within ourselves and in our nation. But in this instant, this wasn't Jehoshaphat's case, you know, as far as with strange women. You know, but Jehoshaphat handled himself right in this. Just like the woman Judith did. You know, where they came and they, tried to bribe her and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Tried to make, he pretty much tried to make it like he was going to marry her, like she was going to be his. But in reality, deep down in his heart, he just wanted to dirty up what was clean. That's what he really wanted to do. You see what I'm saying? Or what the white man will do today is try and take what he views as dirty, and to keep it that way. You see what I'm saying? So whenever you see a woman, that's his intention. His intention is to keep her, you know what I'm saying? And then, not only that, but it's also to turn her against black men. You see what I'm saying? The white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. It just is what it is. All right. Now let's go to 2 Chronicles. We're going to start at the first verse. Let's see how Jehoshaphat. Now we want to be strong men. Now we're going to be a nation of kings and priests, right? So now we got to see how we must handle ourselves. As the king is, so is the people, right? So if our king is a strong king, which is Yahushua, which is a strong king. At this time, our earthly king was Jehoshaphat, who was also a descendant, of King. And Jehoshaphat, his son, reigned in his stead and strengthened himself against Israel. And he placed forces in all the fenced cities of Judah, because at this time, Judah and Israel was going against each other. So Israel wanted to go in the way of the heathen. They wanted to take on the gods of the Assyrians, and they started wanting to do all of that. There was a split between the two kings. So he had to strengthen himself first up against his brothers. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Where are we at?
We're in 2 Chronicles chapter 17, and we're in the second verse.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll give you some time to go ahead and wait. All right.
I thought we was going to 1 Chronicles.
No, 2 Chronicles.
I thought we were. Okay.
And strengthened himself against Israel. Now, this is one of the things that we got to do. Whatever enemy, the first thing that we got to do once we come into this ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Just like what the Lord told Job, right before he turned Job's situation around, he told him to gird up thy loins like a man. Remember he said that? So that lets you know something about the Lord. The Lord ain't just as soft, you know what I'm saying? He's just not there to just, rubbing your wounds and all of that. He's not that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He told Job, get thee up like a man. You know what I'm saying? So when we come into this truth, what's the first thing we got to do? We got to do the same thing that the Lord told Job to do. Get thee up like a man. We got to raise up, strengthen, stick the chest out. You know what I'm saying? Stick the head up. You know, show some fortitude. That's one of the first things that we got to do. You know, when we first get this truth, it's like that gets poured into our spirit. And we start to get our manliness back. You see what I'm saying?
See.
Okay, let's go into the second verse. And he placed forces in all the fenced cities of Judah. Now, those forces that he represented, that's being represented here, how does it transpire today? Protection. This today will be the equivalent of us saying, look, the white man's the devil, separate from him. You know what I'm saying? That would be the same thing that, but this was literal because he was a literal king at this time, you know what I'm saying? And he set up these forces for protection. And set garrisons in the land of Judah and in the cities of Ephraim, which Asa his father had taken. And the Lord was with Jehoshaphat because he walked in the first ways of his father David, and sought not unto Baalim, but sought the Lord God of his father, and walked in the commandments, and not after the doings of Israel. Because Israel at the time was worshiping the golden calves and all of that. You see what I'm saying? But he made Judah separate. That's what a lot of the times we got to be separate from even our own brothers that still, that wanted our from Christianity. That's how the Isupk is separate from Christianity. Christianity, that God Baalim that's mentioned right here, it's the same gods that the Christians serve today. They just put Jesus' name on. It's the same God that they served back here, back in this day right here. Same thing. Therefore, the Lord established the kingdom in his hand. He separated Judah from all Israel and said, behind that, the Lord established the kingdom. The Lord rewarded it. You see what I'm saying? And all Judah brought to Jehoshaphat presents, and he had riches and honor in abundance. Now, here's another aspect of that. A lot of times we'll have people of our own people that will also try and bribe us. Anybody ever been through that? We'll have people of our own people that will try and bribe us to get us back into serving the white man eventually. You see what I'm saying? A lot of our people are agents, to be honest with you. A lot of our people are agents for Esau. You know what I'm saying? Even some people in the Israelite groups, the fake Israelite groups and all of that are agents for real. And what their job is to try and take whatever congregation that they into, whatever Israelite congregation, and pull them back into the Christian church. You see what I'm saying? They don't mind you knowing that you're Israelite. They don't mind that. They don't mind you, keeping, having Sabbath services. They don't mind you doing all of that stuff. But as long as they can keep you without a moral compass. I done seen Israelite groups, they got lesbians in it. You see what I'm saying? Practicing lesbians. And nobody say a thing. You got, women that are, just want to run around, I heard of one Israelite group in Canada, somewhere in Canada, I don't know exactly where, but this group is ran by black women, and guess who they put as their chief priests and all that? Can anybody guess?
A lesbian?
No. One more guess.
A woman?
No. Of course, the women were up, yeah. But I'm talking about as far as a man.
Jesus.
No, not Jesus. The women wouldn't be in leadership if they really had Jesus and they,
homosexual?
white men.
Oh, white man.
Now you got the black woman and the white man running an Israelite group together. So what position is the black man in?
Inferior position.
He's a janitor.
Right.
His job is to fix things, cut the grass, clean up, and do all of that. That's why you don't put women in positions. Black women shouldn't be in positions of leadership. You see what I'm saying? That's the reason why. Go ahead.
I believe that.
Yes.
And that's the reason why a lot of black men don't have jobs, because a lot of black women or women in general have the jobs.
Yeah.
And that takes away from the economy. Like they say about the Mexicans and everything, it's taken away from our economy. Oh, send them back, whatever. We have more jobs as men or whatever else. Some of those black men don't even want a job.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it. To be honest with you, no one want to perpetually just work all the time. No one want that. No other race wants that. And when you got certain black men that don't want a job, even though we have to have a job to sustain ourselves and stuff like that, I understand where the hell they're coming from. Nobody want to do the same thing that their grandfather. The purpose of a race. You see what I'm saying? Of generations. The generations before work hard so that the generations after them do not have to work as hard. That's why. Now think about it.
Right.
Now when you got white men that are pursuing their dreams. He have a dream that he wanted, and some of them, the dream is damn ridiculous. You see what I'm saying? The dreams is ridiculous. For one thing, they don't have moral compass. But their dreams, sometimes, their dreams are damn ridiculous. You got, now, think about it. You got one dude, he just wants to save the animals. And he's getting bankrolled and funded to do that. You see what I'm saying? He's not mentioned the point that his people is destroying every damn thing. But he wants to do this, he wants to do that. You know how he's able to do it? Because his forefathers was able to lay up something for him so he doesn't have to do what they did. Now, black people, on the other hand, nobody is supposed to want to waste away like that. That's going to waste a people away if you have to work just as hard as everybody that worked before you, but not ever accumulate anything. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Only thing your own representative is a paycheck, and you living like this from generation to generation. That's going to waste you away. You're going to waste away. That's why we're kept in this situation that we're kept in. So when a black man don't want to work and everything, I understand that. Nobody should want to have to do that. Nobody. And anybody that think that you should only have to do that doesn't see you as human. And guess what? Let me let you in on something else. That person loves everybody. He loves everybody. The one that thinks that you should go out and break your back intergenerationally, that's the man that loves everybody. But you, on the other hand, he thinks you should break your back just like your granddaddy did. You see what I'm saying? He thinks that you should run around with elbow and everything to where you even pick up a damn something that weighs 10 pounds and it's like a shock through your damn arm and you drop it. He thinks you should be like that, because he doesn't see you as even, he understands to keep you in the position that you in, to keep you broken and to keep you weak, represents the success of everybody else. That's why when you go back into Genesis, into Exodus rather, when it said, let us deal wisely with them. What does it mean? To deal wisely with them means they wanted to put us to labor, and so much labor, intergenerational labor, that we can't think about serving the Lord. All we can think about is work. You see what I'm saying? That's all we can be able to think about. You see what I'm saying?
I can see that.
That right there breaks a people. Now think about it. Imagine what situation the Chinese would be in. Now the Chinese was coming here during the early 1900s, right? Now the Chinese worked on the railroads. You know, they worked on the railroads right along with the blacks that was on the chain gang, with the brothers, you know, that was on the chain. I don't think we worked like together. They had old Chinese crews and all of that, right?
Right.
Well, let me ask you a question. Imagine if the Chinese were locked in a situation to where they still have to do that right now just to eat. What's going to happen with them? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They worked the railroads for about a period of about 20 years. Then the white man gave them enough resources to start Chinatown. You see what I'm saying? That's why in the scriptures, if you have in the law, if you have a servant that is a Hebrew, you're a man of abundance, you're a man of wealth, right? And this man has been brought down into decay. He gambled away all of his sheep or his money, whatever the case was. He gambled it all away, or something happened and he was robbed, whatever the case was. And you hire this man. That man is to work you for a period of about 6 years. And in the 7th year, you're to let that man go free. And you're not supposed to let him go empty.
Right.
That man is supposed to leave you with an accumulation of everything that he's done gotten, along with while you're to take care of him for those years. For those 6 years, you're to take care of this man. You see what I'm saying? But also you're to give him the bulk of everything that he's done got. That's the real retirement plan. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know?
Right.
Like say for instance, you work for this man and this man has 3,000 sheep, 2,000 goats, and such and such and such. You know? You're supposed to leave with a few hundred sheep, few hundred goats yourself. Because you done helped that man for them 6 years get rich. You see what I'm saying? You're supposed to leave with the bulk of that. That stops you from being wasting away in labor. You see what I'm saying? That stops you from being broken down. You see what I'm saying? Now you have the accumulation of that, and he can leave you with a few servants himself. You see what I'm saying? Leave you with a few servants. Now you got servants to take care of your sheep. Now you're a master. You see what I'm saying? Now you have them and everything's growing. Everything's multiplying and growing. There's another young man that went through a similar situation as what you went through with the man before. He serves you for 6 years. You do the same damn thing with him. What is that going to do for you for a nation?
It's going to help enrich you guys.
Yes.
I mean, it's just better because when you look at it too, if you keep working and you work just to survive, and that's the only ceiling you have, over time your spirit is going to get burdened because you're like, shoot, I just live to eat.
Yes.
You know, I don't live to have any type of enjoyment on what I'm getting.
Right.
And stuff like that. I'm just getting by.
Right.
It burdens your spirit. But when
Right.
you see you can enrich yourself and do better for yourself,
Right.
and that adds added motivation just in the puzzle right there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're going to get added motivation. So,
Right. Give him a hand. There's a nice break.
That's exactly what you're
That's exactly, you know, and people like that, you will view your children different.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Right. You'd be like, this is a future ruler, a future Lord.
Right.
So now I gotta do the things for him, you know, to keep his mind right. To keep him in a position, you know, to keep him, I gotta, you know, his self-esteem, I have to make sure he has a lot of it.
That's a good point.
You see what I'm saying? Right. But see, when you work from paycheck to paycheck and you just waste away and all of that, now you have kids, you looking at him as a future of what you're doing. Your back's broke, you look at him as a future back broke. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. Future arthritis. You see what I'm saying? You looking at him like that. You looking at him as nothing. And then that's one of the reasons why black people talk to their children when the children ask for a certain toy. The first thing that comes to, you know, the toy that costs a nice amount of money, the first thing the parent think of is how much it costs. Nigga, you ain't paying no bills. Now this comes across as a shock to a child. You see what I'm saying? That causes a shock because he doesn't understand. He don't understand, paycheck and work bills, budgeting. He don't understand any of that. All he sees is this toy that looks nice, but now, instead of just telling the child, no, son, we can't afford that right now. The black parents a lot of times will go, nigga, what are you bringing into the house? You see what I'm saying?
Right. Come.
That'll be the little nigga grow up to sell dope. That stuff's gonna stick with him. He gonna feel bad because and he's only 6. That stuff is going to plant a bitter seed in him, an ice crystal in his belly, so the time he get 13, 14 years old, now it's going to be about getting money, regardless of how you got to get it, because the bills got to be paid. Now he ready to put that damn 9 to another brother's dome. Right. You see what I'm saying? Because that seed was planted in him when he was 6. Children shouldn't have to know about the struggle like that. Children should have comfort inside the house. Have wisdom, no doubt, right, and have knowledge of things. But, a child is 6, man, he should have a level of comfort. You see what I'm saying? Right. He should be comforted. He shouldn't have to worry about, let him be a kid, you know what I'm saying? Let him go out, and play, and you observe his ingenuity and shit like that. You start to prune whatever talents you see in the child and start to tell him, you know what I'm saying? And then, teach him of the Lord, and so he'll grow up to be strong. That other stuff, man, that breaks his spirit. You know what I'm saying? Right. It breaks him, and it makes him into something that he's not supposed to be. Now he plays hell trying to come back to the truth, trying to come to what it is that he's supposed to be. We're all miracles sitting right here, right now. You see what I'm saying? We're all miracles. The way that, by the way that some of us was raised, it's like we should never, ever be seeking any truth. You see what I'm saying? We're miracles in here right now. But at the same time, us as being parents, us as being, adults, rather, we shouldn't have things that always rest upon a miracle. Because for a large portion of our children, that miracle don't happen. You see what I'm saying? And that be the little dude that put that 4.5 to dude's head last week and was walking to the damn store and got hit 9 times as he was crossing the damn street. Because somebody done rolled down on him after he done robbed Mankey and him. You know what I'm saying? And done tore him up because the value system that he was taught only taught him to get the money regardless of how you got to get it. These goddamn bills got to be paid. Such and such, and that mindset is what killed him. Okay, let's go back into the scriptures. Okay, matter of fact, I'm gonna skip to the point of this. And how Jehoshaphat, or these were the myths, goes into in verse 7, let's skip down to verse 7. No, let's go to verse 5. We'll pick back up at 5. Therefore the Lord established the kingdom in his hand, and all Judah brought to Jehoshaphat presents, and he had riches and honor in abundance. And his heart was lifted up in the ways of the Lord. Moreover, he took away the high places and groves out of Judah. What did this do? He rose up in zeal. He's like, nah, hell no. You know what I'm saying? He rose up in zeal. He's like, y'all ain't going to have this garbage right here. He took away all the high places. He moved with force. You know what I'm saying? The Lord likes this type of thing when a man might rise up and move in force like this and start destroying, things that's unpleasing to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? The Lord has much respect for that. You know what I'm saying? Because the Lord is a man of war. And that's what men of war do, man. Men of war go and tear shit up. You know what I'm saying? Also, in the 3rd year of his reign, he sent to his princes even to El and Obadiah and Zechariah and to Nathaniel and to teach in the cities of. What did he do? He rose these brothers up that he knew that was well in the scriptures, that was good teachers, and rose them up and moved them into the cities of Judah to teach, right? And with them, he sent Levites, even Shemaiah and Nethaniah and Zebediah and Azahel and Shemiramoth and Jehonathan and Adoniah and Tobiah and Tobaniah, Levites, and with them Elishama and Jehoram, priests. And they taught in Judah, and had the book of the law of the Lord with them, and went about throughout all the cities of Judah, and taught the people. They rose up, he rose them up to go and brought them out there to teach, right? Right. Now watch, we get ready to see something here, right? And the fear of the Lord fell upon all the kingdoms of the lands that were round about Judah, so that they made no war against Jehoshaphat. Because when we be out there in them streets like that, just like what we do in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, and they see that we can't compromise, we can't be bought and things like that, then the fear of the Lord falls upon all of them. When they see these fake Israelite groups come out, yeah, the fear might come upon them a little bit at first, just to test the water, then they'll test the waters. Right. But then they'll see that these groups embrace white people. They'll see that those groups love everybody. Then all of a sudden the fear goes away. Now, they can just bribe these niggas. You know what I'm saying? They can just bribe them now. Give them a little bit, and then they'll be controlling the show. You see what I'm saying? Which is happening, which is getting ready to be an increasing thing happening among these Israelite groups. You see what I'm saying? That's going to be an increasing thing that's going to be happening among them. Because the pressure that the white man is going to put on them, they're not going to be able to withstand it. You know why? Because they're not built on brotherhood and the love of the Lord. These organizations are not built on that. In reality, they're really only built on hating the Isupk. So when you build up a group that's built on hating your brothers, whom they originated from, so how's that going to go for that group? The white man will be there for them. Right. And they'll mess around and they'll wake up one day and realize that they're just like Al-Shar. They're just like Farrakhan. They're just like Jesse Jackson. They're just like everybody that they set out there on the streets, on the microphone and talked about. They're going to find out that they're just like them. So what's that going to do? That's going to make them compromise and bend their message. You see what I'm saying? It's going to make them compromise. They're going to bend their message. They're going to start to embrace white people. And then once the devil see a weakness, he's going to go all in full force on the weakness that he see. Next thing you know, niggas will be in IUIC and all that voguing type niggas. You know what I'm saying? Right. But guess what? The ISUPK ain't going to compromise. And we're going to rise. We're going to stand. You see what I'm saying? We're going to be, they're going to fall and we're going to be risen up. That's how it's going to happen. Because we're still going to be the people out there saying that the white man's the devil when nobody else is going to be saying it in the future. They're going to be too scared to say it. A lot of them's going to be too scared to even come out anymore. They're going to be too scared to have camp. You see what I'm saying? Right. Also, some of the Philistines brought Jehoshaphat presents and tribute silver. Now, the Philistines, whom we formerly had all of these war with, what Goliath was, now who we done had all of these, fierce battles with, are bringing presents. What are those presents for? is because they're afraid. They're like, we know we've been long-time enemies. And we know that obviously the Lord's with Jehoshaphat. So let us bring a peace offering so he don't come out and kill the hell out of us. You see what I'm saying? This is the other way that heathens give to us. Because when they're afraid of us. You see what I'm saying? When they're afraid and when they've seen that the Lord has done brought us to a position of strength, now they want to give gifts. Now they're not even sitting there saying, here, we'll give you this if you do this. Now they're like, here, just take this. You see what I'm saying? Right. You know, it wasn't no bribing of the Egyptians when the Lord brought our help. They wasn't like, well, you take this if you do this. You know, they like, here, just take this, period. Everything went one way. Wasn't a two-way street with that. You know what I'm saying? Right. When they give to us, when they try to bribe us, they want to keep us as slaves or they fear us. Mm-hmm. And their fear, as soon as they see, because what do? They see if we lose a battle or anything like that, because they figure, well, if they done lost a battle, that means the Lord wasn't with them. So now we can move in now. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. We gave them that huge gift, but we can go in and we can take a hell of a spoil back. Right. That's the way that they thinking now. You know what I'm saying? And the Arabians, the same ones that got the chicken joints now. The same ones that just selling us fried chicken. Brought him flocks. Remember what I was talking about with the Arabians? They part in the ecosystem on the earth. Mm-hmm. We're raising them sheep, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, they have a gift in that area. They have a gift with raising sheep and goats and things like that. That's one of the reasons why in the kingdom they're gonna be our servants and they're gonna be doing that. You see what I'm saying? They're going to make sure them camels, we're going to have the biggest, strongest camels. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have all of that. You see what I'm saying? And even when we give them our knowledge, because we're going to be masters, of course, of science and agriculture and things like that. So when we take this Arab that's already gifted with raising the sheep and flocks and all that, the blessing is going to be upon us. So we're going to be able to tell him strategies that will make them even more stronger and bigger and powerful without using those type of steps. You see what I'm saying? But it's not going to be something that they're going to be able to steal from us. You see what I'm saying? And enrich their own people with. Their whole enrichment is going to be based on their whole connection with us as them serving us and not rulers. You see what I'm saying? Then in that day, if they want to fry chicken, hell, fine. Fry us up some chicken. You know what I'm saying? Hell, that might be one of their jobs in the kingdom today. Hey, Habib, go fry us up some chicken. Right. You see what I'm saying? We got a feast coming up. Right. Get that together. You know what I'm saying? Also, we'll be telling them also, you know, pay your tributes on top of frying the chicken. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, give your 10% on top of frying the chicken. You know what I'm saying? And we'll have some brother, you know, that's low in stature as far as he might not be that wealthy or that powerful or whatever, just a loyal, faithful brother that might not even have a hell of an inheritance, and we'll put him over them. You know, see what I'm saying? Right. And he'll get a huge cut off of what the Arabians are, you know, producing. Sheep, rams, goats. He'll get a nice portion of that so that man can be resurrected economically. You see what I'm saying? And his children will have a hell of an inheritance. You know what I'm saying? Right. This is how this thing is going to work. You see, it says, the Arabians brought him flocks, 7,700 rams, and 7,700 he-goats. And Jehoshaphat waxed great exceedingly. And he built in Judah castles and cities to store away goods. This has going to be for the brothers that don't receive a gift. Now, when they talk about receiving a gift in the scriptures, it's not talking about not just totally not taking something. You see what I'm saying? When they talk about receiving it, it means don't receive it and look at the person that gave it to you, the heathen nation, in awe when you get it. Because if Jehoshaphat did that, the kingdom of Judah would have failed right in his time. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But Jehoshaphat was a man that was faithful, you know what I'm saying? Right. Grew up until his death and everything. Yeah, he made a couple of mistakes, no doubt. He aligned himself with the king of Israel, at the time and all of that. But the Lord delivered him through all of that. He was still a good, faithful, strong brother. You know what I'm saying? Right. And he was the type of brother that was a defender of his people. He understood how to separate flocks from flocks. And he didn't run around loving everybody. Because he didn't sit there and give his allegiance to the Arabs because they brought him sheep and all that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right, I follow.
He used those sheep and rams and goats and all that to enrich his people. Whatever these kings got, you know what I'm saying, these big major gifts and everything that they got from all the surrounding empires, this was stuff that was distributed among the people. And the people that didn't have nothing now had something. You see what I'm saying? And as a result of that, you know what I'm saying, the people, of course, will bring their tithes and everything up. And it will go up. And then it was in effect and go right back down. And it keep going, the blessing keep going up and down, and that's how we rose and rose and rose and rose to be powerful on the earth. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. But what goes on in the Christian church today is everything goes up and up and up, and it stops there. Right. Nothing goes back down. You destroy a kingdom like that. Right. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And if I could say one thing, isn't that the way that the original apostles, when they first started out, how people were given to Peter, and then they were distributing down, and then he found Ananias, and then his wife, they were being unfaithful.
Exactly.
They didn't come back. So it was the same way, really, then in comparison to what the apostles did when they initially came and formed first.
Right. 100% correct.
And then it worked then as well. Right.
Yes.
I feel you on that.
That's the system that we setting up in the Isupk now. That system. Right. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I feel you.
They don't, and it says also too, look at the wise thing that Jehoshaphat did, him being the leader of the kingdom of Judah, set up storehouses. Mm-hmm. This is another thing that's going to start to separate the men from the boys, because what other Israelite groups have storehouses?
I don't know.
They don't. One way you can know that they don't have storehouses, mm-hmm. because the contempt that they have for their brothers. You see what I'm saying? Right. People that have that kind of contempt for their brothers and everything, they're not going to set up a storehouse. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. For one thing, they don't even value the people. Right. You don't value the people, why store something away from them for? Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they run around talking about
somebody you don't feel like the effort's worth.
Right. Yeah. Right. Whenever you got a nigga that says, "Who the hell cares about Trayvon Martin?" You ever seen that clip?
Nah, I ain't seen it.
It's IUIC, the big-eyed brother. I don't know what the hell his name is.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
He said, "Who the hell cares about Trayvon Martin?" Now, he doesn't care about Trayvon Martin. You think he cares about, having a storehouse full of people in the image of Trayvon Martin?
Right.
He does not.
All right, that's strong point.
You see what I'm saying?
All right.
Let me get a time check, brother.
Oh, yeah. I got 6:23.
Ooh, 6:23. All right. Let's see. We are the Isupk, coming out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. Pay your tithes to the bid of the Lord. Make sure that this distribution of goods gets, you do your part in this, to make sure that your people get fed in the hard times that's to come. And with that being said, shalom.